Hey everybody, this is Joe Price. So in this video, I'm going to be showcasing my own version of the completely automated Lunar event farm. Now this is a recursive farm, meaning you can set it so that it farms the lunar events over and over and over without requiring any player input. Now, I wasn't the first to accomplish this. That distinction goes to Blackshadowwind, and I'll actually link the video showcasing his version in the description box. But this particular version, I think it's much easier to build, and also it's a little bit faster. Now, throughout the showcase today, I'm going to be using the T-MEC community mod, specifically for its free cam mode. Now this mod does not affect the gameplay in any way. Instead, it just allows me to detach the camera from the player character. And I do that just by pressing L on the keyboard. And I just press that now, and as you can see, I can move the camera around. This will allow me to just better showcase the setups when I'm farming all the pillars and when I'm farming the Moonlord. And more importantly, to prevent some of the screen shaking that's going to take place. Because I'll be hoiking around quite a bit. The T-MEC community mod, I'll also link that in the description box. Alright, so let's head over there now, and we just need to input A4 into the teleporter hub, and then head over there. Alright, so before we get started, just a quick note about the levers that you see up top here. The leftmost lever takes us back to home base. The middle one takes us directly to the Moonlord Autofarm. So that allows us to farm the Moonlord directly without having to go through the entire lunar event. But if we're after all of the pillar fragments, then of course we do want to go through the entire event. We can do that in one of two ways. We can either step directly into this teleporter on the right, and that will allow us to go through the lunar event once, or we can pull this lever on the right, and that will cause the recursive function to be on. Again, meaning as soon as we finish one lunar event, we'll just transition directly into the next one. And that way, we can set that overnight and farm tons and tons of events and collect tons of pillar fragments and Moonlord drops. Now, a couple of other things that I want to quickly mention before we get started. Number one is I'll be using just one damage source, and that is the Stardust Dragon. And I'm also going to be wearing the Stardust set. Now, it is possible to use the Spooky set instead to generate damage that's going to be very close as well, but yeah, for this video I'm going to be using the Stardust set. And in terms of other gear, as soon as I summon the most powerful dragon that I can using this gear, I'll be shifting into a menacing celestial stone, a shield, and also a band of regeneration. So I basically have 3 regeneration sources: the celestial cell, celestial stone, and the band of regeneration. And this will ensure that my health is always topped up, because I'm going to be using the same kind of damage prevention mechanism that I showcased in my previous videos. You'll see it in action momentarily. Alright, so let's summon this dragon. I'll also drink a wrath potion and eat some pumpkin pie. And now summon the strongest dragon that I can with the gear that I have. Alright, so there we have it. I'll just shift into my health regeneration gear. And okay, let's go through the lunar event. Alright, so we'll begin by killing off the cultist here. And as you can see, just at the top, there's actually a timer cascade there. It's set for 25 seconds. So there we go, we're about to jump into the first pillar farm. Here it is. I'll just shift the camera over a little bit so you can see what's going on. So I'm basically being hoiked up and down here, taking fall damage, 1 point of fall damage every time, and that will supersede any other type of damage that I might otherwise sustain. So this keeps me alive, and my health regeneration gear keeps me topped up at 500 life. The dragon does a really good job at killing these mobs. Now I also have a pretty lengthy countdown timer. I have a timer cascade that's just to the right of where my player character is, and that's set for 2 minutes and 25 seconds. Now it's, of course, going to be the case that I'll be defeating this particular pillar before that time has been reached, but that's just to give a bit of a buffer time, just in case it takes a little bit longer. So you'll see me kind of paused at this station once the pillar is gone, waiting to transition into the next farm. All 4 of these celestial pillar farms have the exact same design. And of course the pillars, they always spawn at the exact same location. So we'll just watch this for a bit. Now, strangely enough, the Celestial Dragon, or the Stardust Dragon, I should say, it doesn't actually target any of the pillars, so all of the damage it does to them is incidental. While the dragon chases down all the mobs, it'll pass through the pillar occasionally, damaging it, and of course, killing it eventually. It kills it pretty quickly. Now, the timer cascade has almost reached the end, so I'll reattach the camera to the player, and there's a little transporter mechanism that allows us to collect all the fragments. Alright, so here we are at the next pillar. Although the pillars always spawn at the exact same 4 locations, it's not always the same pillar type that spawns at a given location. Some of these pillars are easier to take down than others, but of course I have to anticipate the appearance of any of the 4 pillars at any one location. That's why the builds of all 4 of these pillar farms have to be identical. Of course, I'm using all of the banners as well in order to increase the damage as much as possible by the dragon on all these mobs. The banners, they do affect the damage that's dealt by any of the minions that you summon, but they don't actually affect the damage that any of the traps would do. Yeah, we beat this pillar very, very quickly. So we're just going to have to wait a little bit before we get transported into the next farm. There we go. Alright, you can tell by the timer cascade that we still have a bit of time to go until it reaches the end and teleports us into the next teleporter, into the next pillar farm. So while that's going on, let me just give you a quick look at the map of the world. At these 4 locations, this is where the pillars will spawn. They spawn very close to 0 altitude, and I need these large structures directly above the spawn points just to block the pillars from spawning up there. Yeah, we're almost at the end here. Collect all the fragments, and now we're at the next farm. Again, detach the camera, shift it over here, so that way we can watch all of the mobs spawning. Alright, that was pretty good. Pretty fast. And I'll just have to wait another 30 seconds or so. Okay, 5 more seconds. I'll reattach the camera to the player character. There we go. Alright, so we're at the final pillar farm. And after this, it'll be the Moonlord. Okay, so the fourth pillar goes down, and the moment that it goes down, the Moonlord will be summoned, but it'll be summoned exactly 1 minute after you see that impending doom approaches pop up. So that's good. We'll be teleporting to the Moonlord farm in just a second. Just about 10 more seconds here. And I'll reattach the camera. And here we are at the Moonlord farm. Just put it all on screen. There we go. Now, against the Moonlord, I cannot use the same damage prevention because the Moonlord has its own damage cooldown. So you actually cannot take damage from any other sources and prevent damage from the Moonlord that way. So instead, we have to rely on evasion techniques. And basically, getting hoiked above and below. The Moonlord will appear directly in between, just like that. And it is very, very rare for us to get hit by any of the Moonlord shots. We're just moving too quickly for any of the attacks that penetrate walls to actually reach us. Now, on the rare occasion that we'll get hit by something, we'll regenerate health extremely quickly. So it's never a concern. We never would even come close to dying here. Alright, 2 eyes down. dragon is very efficient at killing this, killing these eyes. Yeah, we took some damage there, but the health regeneration will bring us back up to 500 in no time. Now it's just the heart. He's almost dead. And that's that. As you can see, there's automatic collection of the Moonlord's treasure bag. It just falls through the actuated ground, and we pick it up along the way. Now we just wait a little bit until the timer cascade reaches the end. So we have another about 40 seconds to go. But basically, we can teleport directly into this particular arena and fight the Moonlord over and over and over. And when we do teleport directly into this arena, it doesn't actually start the countdown, or this countdown timer, which means that we can farm the Moonlord indefinitely here. Yeah, so the timer has almost reached the end, and we'll get teleported back to our starting position momentarily. Alright, just 5 more seconds. Reattach the camera. And there we go. So we get teleported back to our starting position. And again, if we did pull this rightmost lever, let me just pop out of here. If we pulled that rightmost lever, let's see if I can pull it from the side here. It would deactuate these Hoik teeth, so after finishing the entire lunar event, if we did pop back here, we would be immediately hoiked to the teleporter on the right here, and thus continue with the next lunar event. And these guys have already spawned. The dragon has already killed them. Alright guys, so looks like another event is starting here. We'll just allow the dragon to kill that guy. Take a bit of damage. Alright. Yeah, so this will allow me to just bring up the map and show you where exactly these pillars spawned. Now, the pillars, they always spawn in a predictable fashion. I actually use the Wikipedia because it gives some detailed information about how these things spawn. So if you take your map, doesn't matter what size it is, and break it up into 5 equal quadrants, that at the border of every quadrant, each pillar will spawn right at that junction point, right at that border. Now it usually tries to spawn around 0 altitude, but it can spawn above that, so that's why there are these gigantic structures directly above, just to prevent the spawning from taking place there. I'll also provide a link to the Wikipedia section that deals with the spawning of those pillars. Alright guys, so that's it for the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will provide some further links both to the download of this map if you want to try the lunar event farm for yourself and see in a little bit more detail how exactly it was put together. And I'll also eventually provide a link to a guide that I'm going to post in the main forums. And that guide, it'll give you some schematics. It'll show you some of the wiring. The wiring is actually pretty straightforward. This isn't that complicated of a farm to build. It just requires you to connect 5 different farms across fairly large distances. Alright guys, so that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, do check out the links in the description box. Thanks for watching.